In this video I'm going to take you through a few tips to improve your rankings and improve your page rank as well, and just make the search engines happy with what you're trying to do with your website in general. Now, some of these may seem obvious, but believe me, I've had problems with them, I forget, and you just need to check these things out. Now, what we're looking at here is an excellent blog. There is a lot of content, it's all unique, it's been written by the owner, and it looks excellent, and this is good stuff for the search engines, and they love words and content. And if we come down here on this particular article, and I'm reading it even as a user, but the same for the spiders as well, they will find a link to a place which they want to go and have a look at. And for me as a user, if I click on the link, I get, as we see, the whole page. The page cannot be found. Now, what's happened here is this website address, which is correct, has just been written as you can see here. So in HTML language that says, oh right, okay, this is just another page, and the extension of the page is www.quitthat9to5.com/wfspecial.html, and by default they would put a little slash in front of this, so where you have your domain in front of it, it just thinks that this is another page on that domain. So you've got the whole website address, and of course that doesn't exist because you don't want this at the beginning. What's either missing here is you could do one or two things. The quick way is in your code when you're linking is just put this /wf-special.html, or if you want to hard code it, which is the best way of doing it, is at the beginning here, in front of it, you must put your HTTP / in front, and that's all you need to do, and then this link would work. At the moment it doesn't work. I've had trouble with links that don't work, and I've lost rankings because of it, because the spiders and the search engines say, well, is this site to be trusted? They can't code their website. As soon as I've put the correct coding in or put the link back because I've misspelled it, then believe it or not, my rankings have come back. And it's just simple, but you need to watch out for it, otherwise you're going to get page cannot be found. Now, some other little tricks about articles and homepage. If we go back to this site here, there are some article links. So if we go to this first one, and there's a lot of articles here. Now, what can you do with these articles? This is obviously a syndicated article, which is probably on 1,000 or 2,000 other websites, which is fine. But the search engines are trying to look at duplicate content, and you'll find probably if you search and put any phrase in here in quotes and put it in the search engines, you'll come up with all the people that have this article on their website, and that's an easy way to check. If I'm putting articles that are syndicated on my websites, when I get the article I immediately find a long phrase that's going to be unique to the article, go into Google or MSN or Yahoo, put the phrase in quotes and Google it and see how many websites have it. Generally, if it's 5 or under, or maybe 10 or under websites, I'll use that article. But if it's hundreds, I'm just going to ignore it because it's already out there and you're unlikely to rank for it. What you can do though is, if it's only a handful of sites, is change the article around. If you're allowed to, change the article. Most people say, right, you can publish my article, but you've got to have a link back to my particular page, which they've got at the top, and they've got at the bottom. Now, in general, you only need to add their link at the bottom only once. But do check with the authors. What I would do here is I would get rid of this. I would change this title completely, and if we just have a look at what this is called at the top, it's actually the same heading, so I'll talk about that in a sec. But I would change the title of this article just to something, just mix the words up, and then I would add in my own introduction text, and it only needs to be a one paragraph, couple of lines, and that says, I haven't seen this article before, the spiders, I'll have a look at this. And then what you can also do is, if you're allowed to change some of this, you can add in your own headers, maybe here. You might be able to bold some of these words, or add in another header here if you wish. In addition, once the article is finished, and this is the end, you probably don't need to put that there, but add in more text at the bottom, and you see what that's done. That's changed the whole article completely, but left what the author has put in the body exactly the same. So just check what you can and can't do with articles, and you can move them around. Now, another issue with websites is, if we go back here, the title of every single page is exactly the same. Now, you can't do this because that says every web page on my website is exactly the same, and you need unique content. You need to call it something different. It's easy to do. Just change your title tag and just call it what is relevant on the page you've got. So if this is correct as a title, then stick it up here as well. Make it the same, but do not have the titles here all the same. Describe what's on the page and do something different. And we can check this if we have a look at some of these other articles that they've got. I can see that every single page is exactly the same, and you can also check that in Google as well. In my Google search box here, if you type in sites.www, then the website address, and you see what's happened here. This is classic. When the title is exactly the same, what Google says is, every page is exactly the same, I'm going to ignore it. So they've only indexed 2 pages, and those 2 pages are the home page, which is good, but another page where the title is different, another page which is probably relatively unique, but other than that, nothing's indexed. Just 2 pages of this site, which is probably quite a big site with all those articles. So, number one, they haven't been indexed. Not being indexed means you're never going to get visitors because the pages aren't in there to be searched. So you've got to check that. So titles, always the same. So if we go back here, what I want to talk about again, another tip, is this home link. Now, it's good having a hard link rather than an image link. This doesn't link anywhere, but if you had a home symbol and that linked, that's fine. But you should have a home link. Now, this is called home. Home is not a good description because the title of your site is not called home. If we're talking about home business opportunities, you need to describe your home page as something like, if it's business ideas, get that here, get that in this, you can even call it business ideas home. That's fine, because your external links probably have business ideas in them. So when I talk about mixing them up, you've got additional words, so it's not all the same page. So there's a tip on this link. Call it what it should be. Now additionally, if you click on this link, it goes not to the main domain, but domain/index.html. Now the problem with this is you've created another page for the search engines to get hold of, and they treat this index.html differently to just your domain. If we go back just to the domain page, what you will see is a page rank of 4. But on the other page, it had a page rank of 0. So it's pulled those two pages in differently. It might look at them and say, that's duplicate content, I'm not particularly interested. So you may have difficulties there, but you see the page rank hasn't been channeled, the weighting on the index hasn't been put in, so that link back to the domain hasn't really been counted. So you need to put that in there. So just to summarise up, please check your links, that they do go to places you want them to. Check your index, make sure your home page doesn't go back. Ensure that there's a description of that particular home page. And then if you're putting articles on your website that are syndicated, that a lot of other people have, try and mix them up so that they look different on your website and that the search engines will rank them for you.